to Wax On, Wax Off, the podcast where a teenager gains wisdom and insight from pioneers and innovators that have come before in search of how to win in every facet of life and change the world. I'm your host, Solomon Cole, and let's get into today's episode. Woo! It is season 2, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. Honestly, it's been not difficult, but it's been hard to get back into the swing of things because once I've taken off the time of not doing the podcast, and now that I'm back, it's just hard to get back into it. And it's honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, all these doubts have been in my head and all this stuff, which we're gonna talk about later in the episode, is paralysis analysis and all of this. But I guess on that note, I've been trying to do the podcast for so long, start it back up, season 2 or whatever you want to call it, part 2, and I've been feeling like I don't do a good job or I'm not helping people. Mainly the reason was because I don't know, I have heard stuff, but I haven't heard much from people. So if you have a story or anything that you have experienced from this podcast and something that has helped you in a positive way or a bad way, I don't know, I'll take your critiques. But please let us know. It means a lot if you just shout out Instagram or something and just be like, hey, you have helped me in this way, or when you said this meant a lot. Because that really boosts morale for me. It boosts morale for my editor. It boosts morale for everyone on the Wax On, Wax Off team. Yeah, so that's it. What's been going on? I'm trying to think. I've been traveling a ton. I've been traveling a lot. We went to England, Ireland, and Scotland, and that was really cool getting to go out to those places and meet all the people and see the culture differences. And we went to Nashville. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, there were so many great things out there. The people out there are great. Shout out Thea Vaughn, please be on my podcast. No, but for real, it's been really good. But okay, here's something that's been happening is when I go on a trip or something, right? Then I'm coming back, I'm going, I'm getting ready to go back, I'm packing my stuff up, we're leaving, and then I start thinking about okay, I've taken the time to whatever, chill out on this trip, but now when I get back, I need to not punish myself, but okay, I haven't been working out, so I gotta work out really hard, and I haven't been reading, so I gotta read a ton, or I haven't been doing whatever it is, and I need to do it way harder than I've been doing it before this, and I don't want to do that anymore, you know what I mean? And that's why I kind of hit this patch where I was I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to care for myself. I'm going to be happy with where I am. And I'm not going to strive anymore because I've been striving for a lot of things. And striving is just, it's eternally trying to get to this mountaintop. But life isn't a mountaintop experience. Sure, you get on a cliff and you get to enjoy the view for a second. But at some point, you're going to have to keep going up that mountain. And I've been really trying to, even with this podcast, I would think okay, if I get this guest, then I can go with this guest to that guest, and then from that guest to this guest. And then finally, I can maybe get to this guest, right? And I'm working my way up. But that's not what life is about. And this is what I've really been learning is life is about the journey. And people say that it's about the journey, man. But it really is about the journey. The journey is it's the most real thing in life, is being in this present moment. I read this book called The Power of Now, and it's by Eckhart Tolle. Please, I would love to have him on my podcast. If anyone knows him, connect us. But anyway, he writes this book about how do we as people not be sad, not be depressed, just be in eternal bliss. Not it's making your present reality heaven. How do you do that? And he figured out that it's through this method called the power of now. And pretty much what it is first, it's untraining your brain to stop distracting itself, because there's different parts of you. He talks about there's the ego, which is the part of you that's when someone offends you or talks down to you, that's the part of you that wants to defend yourself. That's the ego. I am something. I'm special. I am not that you're not special. You are an amazing human being, but I am better than them. How can they say that to me? That's the ego. Then they talk about your mind, which is your distraction, the distractor, the thing that's constantly, well, what if you check your phone? And what if you go here? And what if you go that? And the intellectual thing. They all have good parts of themselves. You need a little bit of an ego sometimes. Not a lot of it, because most of the time the ego is in control. And then your mind. Your mind is a great thing. It helps you understand things intellectually. I couldn't have read the book if I didn't have a mind. And then he talks about this last bit, which is you, the truest essence of you, the truest essence of yourself. And that is what you really need to tap into. And sometimes we get to this point where if we not try, but if we just really are ourselves in a moment and we're so deeply present, and that's what he talks about is the key to being in the now, is letting those other two parts of ourselves fall away and just being in the moment, just be. And that's where you can find true bliss. I've really been working on trying to be in the now, enjoy where I am in this moment, and not think about the next thing, because especially in a world with phones and constantly having access to anything at all times at the tip, like at the press of a button, it's a lot, and it can be bombarding and overwhelming, and sometimes we're just like we can't be by ourselves. I hear a lot of people talk about that, and I feel the same way. Someone said like I thought I really liked music, but turns out like I hate myself. Like I just wanted to throw the headphones in, call it a day, and just kind of numb out. And that's what's going on a lot. And I think if we, as people, as the next generation, as whatever adults, I'm almost an adult, I'll be there soon. But as human beings, if we can all just be where we are right now, not try for anything else, and just really enjoy where we are, I think it can help us a lot. I'm trying to think what else. I've been having like a lot of doubts with the podcast, like I'm not going to do it perfect, or I'm not going to do it well, or what if I don't reach anyone, or what if I don't help anybody? And I think a lot of people, that keeps them from doing things. And I'm trying to, I haven't been doing it for a while, but that keeps them from doing things. And I've been really like trying to kind of be okay with like nothing is going to be perfect no matter what you do. Like you can try as hard as you possibly can. It'll never be perfect. And it's not about doing it perfectly. And I'm saying this to myself and only myself. You can't do it perfect. It's not about doing it perfect. It's just about doing it and figuring it out along the way. Alex Hormozi talks about that. He says like, when I was sleeping on the floor in my gym, like trying to start this business, like I wasn't like doing it perfect. I didn't have everything under control. I was just doing it and trying to figure out what the next step is. And it's really in those situations where you do it, are you really enjoying the journey, because you have to make that next step and you have to make that next right decision. Yeah, so if you are a doubter like me and you feel fearful or worried that you're not going to do X, Y, and Z, the journey it's about the journey. It's about the journey, if you know that meme. Oh, comparison is the thief of joy. That's something that has been in my mind and I've been repeating over and over again. Teddy Roosevelt, this guy, that's his quote, and that has been really helping me, because with this podcast I have been, and this is probably applicable to a lot of things you do, is you compare yourself to other people. I don't look this way. I don't have the things they have. I don't wear the clothes they wear. I don't have the shoes they have. I don't have the house or the car that they have. I don't have the money they have. Constantly comparing yourself with people, it just steals your joy. And a lot of successful people, after they get all the things, they figure out, shoot, like I have all the things that I thought made the man or the woman what they are. And that's not true. They really are like, after they get all the things, they're like, what is the most valuable? Family. What is the most valuable? being around my friends? What is the most valuable? Doing something that I love, not something that is like this money-making thing. And some people are lucky and they get to do both. They're not lucky. I think they're geniuses. They get to do the thing that they love that also makes them money. That's really the goal for your career. That's what it should be, at least. I mean, for some people, it might just be make as much money as possible and then retire. I'm trying to think, what else happened? Oh, new Olivia Rodrigo album. If you don't know me, which a lot of you do, she is my favorite ever. And her new album came out and it's amazing and it is so good. So you should listen to it. If you know her, please connect us. I would love for her to be on my podcast. That would be so fun. I got to meet Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which was super cool. We can put a little picture of that right here. Wow, there it is. No, but it was so cool. I got to go hear him talk. We went out to Cleveland, Ohio. He had and I'm not like talking politics or anything. I'm just saying like I got to meet him. He's a very cool person. He's achieved a lot of cool things. And from a personal, like goal-oriented personal success kind of thing, he is a very successful person personally. And he's just a real human being without letting success or anything corrupt him. Not that I'm saying like successful people are corrupt, but he's just a cool person. Anyway, so I got to meet him and it was really cool just getting to hear him talk and hear him just kind of he's just a normal dude. And that's when I meet these people who are successful, like talking to like really successful people, it's just like they're normal people, you know what I mean? Like sure, they might have access to things that you don't, or that I don't, or that like the average person wouldn't have access to. Sure, yeah. But that deep inside, they have the same human struggles that we do. They're still insecure, they're still like worried that people aren't going to like them. They're still like just a real person. They still like are nice and care about people. And the most successful people, I feel like, are the ones who are the most real. You know what I mean? Because some people get money and they are like living the famous life for a little bit, and then that wears off, and then they're like, wait, what? Like kind of what we were talking about, like what is really important? And it's not comparing and having that giant iced out chain or having that Lamborghini. I mean, that's fun and all, but it's really about the things that aren't fleeting, the things that can't be taken away by someone who can steal it from you, like by man. It's like your family, it's your relationship with yourself, it's the things you know in your mind. Those are the true things that bring joy. I'm really excited for the future of this podcast. I'm really excited for season 2. I'm really excited to get to kind of just go along this journey with you guys and really talk about like real stuff. And I want this to be a podcast that answers your questions, because in the beginning I was kind of freelancing it. I was like, okay, well, I think people want to hear this, I think people want to hear that, and I was just asking those questions. But now I want to give you guys, you listeners, the opportunity to ask these successful people and actually have access to these questions. So there are a couple things you can do, and I'm making this up right now, but this is going to be legit. You can DM me at Wax On Wax Off Podcast on Instagram. Wax On Wax Off Podcast. Is that what it said? I don't know. You can DM the Instagram account, and I will be, if it's something I can answer, I'll be responding to it. But you can say like, we asked this in the next episode. We asked this in the next episode. And I'll ask whatever the guest is that question. You can say like, I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but we'll do it. We'll figure it out. And you can get to access to people like, I'm going to keep it a secret actually. There's really cool people that are coming on the podcast. Yeah, and I'll be doing a lot of Q&As, and you can have like, you can also ask your questions there. And I want to make this a journey where it's like me and you, and we are growing together as people. Unless you listen to this podcast and that's it. Like, I want you to have the ability to ask these people these questions. And if you want to ask me a question, you can ask me a question, but I'm just a regular dude. Yeah, so if you want your questions on the podcast, just ask. If you want things to change or you have any suggestions, that'd be great. just let me know. I mean, there's a little bar if you go down, if you're on Spotify at least, the little bar, and it'll say, what do you think of the podcast? Tell me what you thought. It really helps me to grow and to be motivated. Yeah. Share it with your friends if you want to. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back, and I'm happy that you guys are here. And yeah, that's it. Bye, everyone.